Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is November 13th, 2021, and I am your co-host, the Fat Wizard, joined today by...
Alamaxia.
And Lobos.
And today we're taking a look at Mega Man X, released in North America, January 14th, 1994. So this was a very, I would say, a pivotal moment for Mega Man, kind of coming in on the 16-bit era. And I'm really curious if Alamaxia or Lobos, you kind of like played it when it first came out. Because I actually played it for the first time, a couple months ago on the Super Nintendo. But I'm curious, like, did it blow your mind out of your socks?
This was one that myself and my friends played the absolute heck out of back when I was in middle school. And it holds up. The graphics are great. The controls are just tight and on point.
Controls.
I love this game.
Yep, I played it a bit. I didn't have it. My friend had it, so I played a bit at his house.
Ooh.
I just remember, the armor pieces and that being such a thing. And that with like the smoothness and the graphics updates from the, NES Mega Mans, it was awesome.
So at the very start of the game, which we're watching here, has got quite a bit of exposition. I guess I always think about Mega Man 2, where you just scroll up, you see Mega Man on a building, and then it's like, boom, go. But now we've got like, hey, there's a lot of jibber jabber going on here. Yeah. Who's our lore expert on Mega Man X, and what's going on?
So I had actually never read through any of this whenever I was younger, because it's just start, get into the game as quickly as you can, and what's happening is X is a robot. He's pretty much an android, and he has the potential to just create a lot of destruction, a lot of harm. And basically, it's a doctor. Was it Dr. X or something saying, if he harms a human, this could mean the end of humankind.
Mm. That letter we were just watching was from Dr. Light.
Yeah, Dr. Light.
Dr. Light. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, now again, I don't remember. I feel like Mega Man 4 was the last one I played, and so maybe they did something different for Mega Man 5 or whatever. But this one had a cool start because you hit the start, and it's not like a mission select. You kind of almost go through this tutorial level, so you're instantly in the action. Is this do you guys know if this is the first time Mega Man kind of started you out on a robot level? Like, I don't know.
It's the first one I remember for sure. But yeah, this intro stage is super iconic, and it just sets up your whole playthrough and makes you, you're basic Mega Man here, and then, you meet somebody who's not so basic, and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna be that guy soon.
I really loved the level design in this first level, how they very quickly introduce you to a lot of the mechanics you have to know, like the charge beam. You really need that to get through those large airships quick. The wall jump and how they tease that energy on the other side of the wall, so that they say, hey, there's going to be a lot of vertical progression that you might want to start exploring little corners.
Yeah. So, I'm sure, Alamaxia, you probably didn't read the manual because it sounds like you're like hitting start as soon as you can. But I always would read the manual for these games, but I don't have the manual for this one, so I just kind of went in. And they drop you into a little pit, and I was like, what? How the heck do I get out of this? And then I think just by accident, I found out you could wall jump. I'm like, this changes everything I know about Mega Man.
Right? Yeah,
for the better. Good. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's so good. All right, so we go, we fight like a little bumblebee boss or something like that.
It was Vile.
Not super interesting. A what?
That was Vile.
Vile, okay.
Yeah, that was
Vile. And then we go to like a spaceship thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're talking to Zero Knight right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Zero.
Because he kind of came down and helped us, because I think we were in an unwinnable fight.
Yeah,
and then
Zero's like, you're not powerful enough to defeat him. You need to go out and get stronger. Because Zero just came in and saved us. We were stunned. Vile was getting ready to put in the killing blow.
Yeah, and I think he does that a couple times in the game. But after that, you go fight the 8. It's the traditional Mega Man formula, which I love. It still holds its own, and you never know which one to go with first. So maybe I made the wrong decision. Actually, I think what I did here, it was for the footage at least, I kind of cut to the robots when I killed them. I almost went through all of the robots and I couldn't figure out which one to do with the basic. I started with I don't know their names. I'm just gonna call this Water Man,
This is Launch
Tentacle
Octopus.
Man, or
Yeah,
what?
Launch Octopus.
Launch Octopus. So what's the proper order here?
I like to start with
it's-
Chill Penguin first.
Yeah, Chill Penguin,
Chill
because
Penguin.
his stage gives you the dash, and that just speeds everything up so
Oh,
much.
Okay.
And he's real easy to beat
Yeah,
the Buster.
You know what's sort of funny is I remember watching Lobos do some speedruns of this many, many years ago.
Mhm.
And so, like, as I'd get to a stage, I'm like, wait, I vaguely remember something about, like, isn't there, like, and then sure enough, something would happen that would be something I'd remember. I don't know that it gave me any sort of advantage one way or the other, but it was cool to be like, oh, yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of times I'll watch like a speedrun of something, and then I'll play the game, and I'll get there, and I'll be like, oh yeah, the speedrunner did this, and then it's like
Yeah.
utterly impossible, and I'm like, okay,
How
well
did he do
that made
that?
it worse for me. Yeah.
And then so some of the levels have these mini bosses, and so in the octopus, whatever his name is, we're fighting some little spiky shark thing that kind of goes into the ground and pops up, and I guess you have to blast its tail a couple times, and then he blows up. And then
You can blast his tail or his head, and you can actually stand on
Oh.
him, so you can jump on his back
Oh, I
and just
didn't know
like be
that.
right in front of his right behind his head and just mash into him.
Nice.
Oh, so that's a speedrun strat there.
Well, the speedrun strat is actually to use Storm Eagle's weapon, which is like the wind
Okay.
attack, and if you
Yeah.
time it right, you can kill him in just one attack and just keep going.
Nice. nice. And so we're fighting the first boss here, the octopus guy. I actually felt like most of the levels were pretty short. I don't know. Is that just me misremembering the difficulty of Mega Man, or did you guys find like the time from level start to boss was actually pretty short?
I would say that they can be shorter for sure. I think earlier Mega Mans had certain points that were a lot more punishing. Like, I'm
yeah.
thinking maybe like Mega Man 2 Heat Man, when you have to
Yeah.
do all the timed jumps and
or
go
you
across the
fall in
lava.
the
Yeah. So I think that inherently adds time, or at least it feels like it when you're like dying a bunch. But
And I feel like adding some of those little nooks and crannies really helped to add time to, like on Storm Eagle's level,
Yeah,
there's a
that's true.
whole lot of little places to
Yeah.
explore.
yeah.
So we just beat the octopus boss. We'll kind of walk through some of the boss fights, but I think most of these we'll have another chance to walk through anyway. And we get, I love this weapon. It's the homing torpedo, and it allowed me to just kind of like wall jump into a corner and let my homing torpedoes kill the boss in some of the cases. So I used it a lot, kind of a cheese strat. But then I actually do go to Chill Penguin.
Nice.
Okay.
So
I don't
also
know-
when you
I was gonna just say I don't know how because I always do it in the same order because it's a speedrun route basically.
Mhm.
But as far as I knew, I thought the missile was Boomer Kuwanger's weapon, but maybe they're not tied to a particular boss. You just kind of get it in certain orders. Man, I don't know.
But Boomer Kuwanger gives you the cutter, but the missile is what's strong against him.
yeah.
It is strong against him. Yeah, maybe that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking about. Wait, which
Yeah.
one is the cutter? Maybe I never. Oh no,
That's
no,
the
no. Yeah, you're
boomerang.
right. It's the
That's what
boomerangs. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, not the
Jeez.
chameleon. Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah,
that wrong
you
too.
use it on chameleon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole rock, paper,
So,
scissors going around in a big circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this this level here. Some of the enemies there. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's get to this little holograph we just got of Dr. Light, because he gives you some power-ups throughout the levels. And I think this is the first time, you get a power-up, and I think Alamaxia might have mentioned earlier, this is the dash.
Yeah, get your boots upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And I really
Yeah.
like how we're gonna see this when Mega Man gets the upgrade. You actually see the armor change on him, and you see like the actual progression of him getting stronger throughout the game. I love that.
Yeah, and I guess this is a series staple. As you change your weapons, you'll change the look of your character, like the color palette.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always partial to like kind of the lime green color or the pink color. I always thought was cool.
Pink
on
was
Mega
very
Man.
cool. Pink Mega Man. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
I was
go
going to say, I presume at this point, like Dr. Light's dead. Like this is in the future. Is that right? And so we're seeing
it was 2000 XX.
Yeah,
I would say
who
that's
knows,
the future,
right? Of course.
So
but I'm not
yeah,
sure.
I mean,
I'm
I
not
guess
sure
it's
if
a
he's
2000.
No, you don't think so?
I don't know.
Because we never see him in the game. Only like that I guess note
Yeah.
at the beginning, and then like these holographic like renders
We also
of him.
don't see Dr. Wily.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like Wily
I don't know if
time's
this is
over.
the first one without it. Wily time's over.
I don't know.
Hey, here's another thing that was, I think, new to this game is the ability to jump in more or less a vehicle. But again, we're still in the Chill Penguin level, and we have a suit of power armor, and you can go in there and you can punch people and you can run around. But the nice thing about that is if you take damage, it doesn't actually damage X.
Right.
It damages the health of the bot, but the bot, I don't think it's just like you can get hit a couple times and then the thing gets destroyed and you can no longer use it.
It has a fair amount of health, and whenever
really
whenever
does.
you're able to land a punch, especially if you do dash jumps with it, that thing can just wreck. Just absolutely.
I wish I could bring that into a boss fight. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So who wants to walk us through Chill Penguin here and the mechanics?
Sure. Yeah, Chill Penguin has, all the bosses will have a handful of moves, and the one thing that is I always have to think about for speedrunning is that he has this dash that whenever he slides across the room and he'll just bounce off walls, and he's invulnerable during that time, so you have to just kind of focus on dodging him at that point. But he spawns these cool like penguin like ice sculptures and then
statues
and then he'll jump up to the middle of the arena and pull this switch that like blows wind, and then it'll push him into the wall, so you have to dodge those. You can just jump up on the wall and wall jump, and it's easy enough. But
I'll tell you what, I constantly had to remind myself that I had wall jump. Again, you're seeing in the video, at least I'm using it pretty effectively because this is like when I've actually remembered it. But I would say like my first like 3 or 4 hours, I kept forgetting, oh yeah, I can like jump on the side of the wall here to avoid the boss. I don't have to try to jump over him.
I really feel like some
really
of the
fun.
Bosses were pretty cheesed by being able to wall jump. But some of them, they had some mechanics where they're like, oh no, if you think you can wall jump on all the bosses, nope, we're going to get you. But the Octopus was one of them that we saw. Just all those missiles were just flying everywhere.
Yeah, they just home.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a pretty easy boss. It's his move sets. I would say these are probably pretty easy to dodge. Just jump over him when he's torpedoing himself. Use the wall jump when the ice statues are smashing against the wall, and then jump over his little ice ball that he shoots at you, and boom! Now you got a shotgun ice, which that's a pretty cool sounding thing, right?
Pretty sweet. I really like if you miss the enemy, as long as there's a wall on the other side, it'll reflect back threefold.
I used that for one of the later bosses there to great effect. So I was thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, cool. I just got the ice weapon. Guess where I'm going next? I'm going to Flame Mammoth because that makes sense, right?
Well, it is good that you defeated Chill Penguin before coming here, because otherwise the floor is lava.
Oh,
what?
yeah.
I did hear that there was some variance in, like, when you kill one boss, it'll alter the levels of some of the others.
Yep.
That's so cool.
And another one that you've already done is whenever you do the Launch Octopus, it'll flood Sting Chameleon's level. There's some underground caverns, and it also adds the water bugs to the level.
Oh my goodness. And there's actually reason to go back into the levels after you've beaten it. So because there's some power-ups you can get, which I think we alluded to earlier. Actually, yeah, cool. We're just getting a power-up
There's
now.
one right there, yeah.
Yeah, one of the power-ups we're finding is a heart container, and that increases your max life. I didn't find a lot of those. I found a bunch of them, but I couldn't figure out how to get to some of them. So I feel like I ended up with pretty low life at the end of the game.
Yeah, there's one of them in every level, and some of them require. I know one of them requires you to have Boomer Kuwanger's cutter, but some of them are just hard dash jumps.
Okay.
Yeah, the boomerang will actually grab items for you, and it'll shoot through walls too. So
okay. And
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
probably
okay.
thinking on, was it Spark Mandrel's level?
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah, where and it's kind of weird because if you're standing on the ground and you shoot a boomerang, it'll curve upwards and come back to you.
Yeah.
But if you jump, it'll curve downwards and come
down,
back to you.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can
Kinda
kind of
weird.
control it that way.
Yeah, okay, so that's interesting because I did notice there were some items in walls. I was like, well, how do I get this? And also,
Yeah.
there were some tricky jumps like you talked about. And, I think this is part of how you have expectations in prior games in the series because I was like, oh, well, at some point, you probably get like a rush that you can
Right.
jump on and he'll like make you jump higher or make you go sideways. So I was kind of expecting to get something like that to be able to make some of those jumps. But in any case, cool to know that there's that I could have gotten those otherwise. But yeah, I guess for the Flame Mammoth here, I kind of just kill him with a basic
Basic Buster.
boost, what do they call these things? A Buster
Buster.
rifle?
Yeah. Mega Buster.
Mega Buster.
Now,
Buster, right.
Flame
Mega
Mammoth.
Buster.
Flame Mammoth has 2 weaknesses actually.
Oh, yeah.
If you
what are
have
they?
the Torpedo, that's just the weakness that hurts him really bad. But if you have the Cutter from Boomer Kuwanger, you can cut off his trunk and he won't spit out that pitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's,
'cause
cool.
he's
That's
so-
really cool. You
he's-
can dismember his parts.
yeah, and the Cutter will also work on the launch Octopus to cut off his tentacles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so we got Fire Wave. This is one of those things I wish I would have used earlier on, but I used later on in some of the Fortress levels or Sigma levels or whatever they call them.
Yep.
And they're very good about just like, hey, I'm gonna run through a level, hold down the fire button, and shoot a flamethrower at everything, and then just it's very very easy.
Yeah.
So I guess the next one I try is Storm Eagle. This is
Which
kind of a cool.
I feel like
level.
this is a good point to just kind of, give a proper nod to the soundtrack because Storm Eagle and Spark Mandrel are some of the more beloved tracks, and it is just metal on a Super Nintendo, man. It's It's just such good music. Yeah.
But you start off the first level here, or the start of this level, having some of these platforms that rotate around a conveyor belt, and then you have to jump on them. That's not too hard, but what is kind of hard is they've got these little annoying helicopters that will like grab you and pick you up, and
bots.
grabby bots. And so I think they frequently will just grab me and then throw me, yeet me into a pit or something. But I guess this level, you're all about like going into a factory or an airship or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what we're scaling.
Yeah, it's like I think we're scaling like you said, like an airship. We're climbing the structure that it's at the top of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would call it like a Sky Fortress almost.
Yeah.
And this is the level Alamaxia was saying has a bunch of like little nooks and crannies to go explore.
Yeah.
I
We're gonna
noted,
find one right
there,
here.
Yeah, there you go. And that's our first reserve tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
I
what they
think
call
that's the only one I get, I get
E-tanks
to.
in this one.
E-tanks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so you go up to this, what looks to be a control tower, and it's covered in glass, but you can see there's an E-tank there. And so I was like, maybe I just shoot the glass. Sure enough, you shoot the glass, and it opens a little hole there, and you can jump in there and get that E-tank. So
this level
great.
has a lot of little hidden things, though. Back at the very beginning of the level, at the top of that those first conveyors, if you do a dash jump to the far left, you'll find the heart for the level.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And then at another part in this level, you can find, I think it's the helmet upgrade.
Yeah, you can get the helmet. So if you
So
saw
what does
earlier,
the helmet do?
you can actually break blocks in other levels by jumping into them, kind of Mario style, which gives you access to some
okay.
other secrets.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you saw earlier, there was like these kind of canisters that were flammable in a row. And I think you can use fire on it, or if you shoot it just a bunch of times with the Buster, they'll blow up, and then it reveals like one of those Dr. Light little, capsules there that you can acquire the headpiece.
Which you have to have in order to get the beam upgrade later on.
Beam upgrade?
And Flame
Maybe I
Mammoth
missed
level.
that one.
It's something you get eventually towards the end because of story reasons,
yes.
but you can get it
yeah.
before then with these
Okay,
other
I didn't
methods.
realize you get it before then. What do they call it? The X cannon or something like that? Or
I don't remember the
I don't
official
know.
name for it, but yeah, just like
Okay.
Super Buster. I don't know.
So good.
so we're fighting the flying eagle dude at the top of his ship, and he's kind of nasty. Actually, I tried to kill this guy before I had the dash, and one of the things he'll do is do this wind that will try to knock you off. And if you don't have the dash, it's really hard to not fall off the edge of the ship.
You'd have to start so
basically, and so I kind of upgraded a little bit and found some new weapons. I think right now I'm trying to use a homing missile on him, and I think that kind of works okay for me if I can actually hit him. But he has a couple different things he does. He does that little wind thing that'll try to knock you off, and then he's got this dive bomb attack that he'll do at like 45-degree angles, which is kind of annoying. And then the last attack he has is he'll shoot this egg out, which will create these 4 birds that come at you and come out and attack you. So as I found out later, this guy's weakness is the chameleon shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
of course, I didn't have it at this time.
Yeah, if you just stand on the ground and shoot it, it'll branch into 3 and angle up towards him, so it makes it easy to hit him.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I should watch more speedrun strats before I go into these games, it seems like.
Interestingly enough, we talked about Flame Mammoth earlier. In the speedrun, you actually use the Storm Eagle weapon, which is the wind tunnel thing, because it'll actually hit him twice if you put it like right next to him. It'll hit as soon as it spawns, and the sprite lasts long enough that it hits him a second time. So I think it ends up being faster that way. Which is the weapon we just got right there.
Yeah, and I think this one I probably had limited use for. You know, I found that some of the weapons I didn't use that much, and obviously it's my own knowledge gap, just not understanding where they could be used. But I kind of stuck to like a couple different weapons. Like I said, the flamethrower was really great. Those homing missiles were really great for me.
Yeah.
And then I found that the chameleon shot was actually very good. Not for shooting, but for kind of cheesing levels, and because you can make yourself invulnerable.
Oh yeah, once you get the arm upgrade,
I'm having troubles getting past here, so that was a lot of fun. And then after that, I moved on to, I missed the name. Does anyone remember which one this is?
This is Boomer Kuwanger.
Yeah,
which is a strange. I think a Kuwanger is a type of beetle or something, because I remember looking it up at some point, but it also sounds like boomerang, so like Boomer Kuwanger, like they just kind of mixed them.
I guess I just gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, this is probably a made-up word because it's a Mega Man game, so...
I'll try and back up my research here.
Okay, please do so. One of the things they introduced in this level are these laser grids that when you pass through them, it activates this
like a
gun that I think almost will always kill you, or not kill you, but always hit you. I don't think you can dodge it once you activate it.
It's a fast laser. It is really fast.
Yeah. And then you get a cool little elevator section. So the elevator goes up, and there are spikes above you, and I don't believe spikes kill you in this game if you get hit, which is nice.
They do. They're insta-kills.
Oh, they do?
They are.
Okay, so I guess what happened... Yeah, I must have damage boosted through it then. Okay. You kind of have to dodge those.
A very useless piece of trivia, but there's a cool way to get through that section, because your distance away from the wall that you can activate a wall jump is slightly longer than the distance of the spikes. So you can actually like wall jump off the spikes, but not actually take damage from them. It like puts you in the weird, like invulnerable damage state, but you don't actually take any damage. So you can just like spam wall jump off the side there. It's kind of particular spacing, but it's a weird spot.
That's cool. Cool.
Now that heart that we just saw, Lobos,
how do you get that?
If I remember correctly, so you can come back to this level after you get the boss's weapon, but Lobos, haven't I seen you actually wall dash jump and get that?
Yep, it's called Iceless Heart. It's a speedrun tactic.
Gosh.
And it took me a long time. Like, literally, it was like kind of a meme that I would, anytime I booted up a Super Nintendo game, I would put Mega Man X, and then we'd time how long it takes me to get the heart. And something in the last, like, 2 months, like, was, I had an epiphany, and I was able to just, like, figure out something that was causing me to not get it, and now I can get it, like, very consistently.
Nice.
But the normal way you're supposed to do it is, well, at least as far as I know, is the charged ice spawns a platform, and you can jump on it.
Yep.
And it'll just slide off, and then you can jump to the left as it's sliding off to the right, and then make it up there.
I feel like you could also get it using this guy's weapon. the boomerang.
Oh yeah, you probably could. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever tried it with Boomerang.
Speaking of this guy, we were fighting Quickman, right?
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
he's got the boomerang
Yeah.
helmet thing. So that's how I knew it was Quickman.
Oh wait, Cutman.
And this guy,
You might be in Cutman because Quickman's got a V, I think.
Yeah,
And
Cutman.
Cutman's got the
Cutman combined with Quickman.
yes.
Anyway, he's got this. He basically does like a suplex or something. He basically takes you and just chucks you into the ceiling,
yeah.
which oh gosh, that was annoying as heck. And then we got his little. He got his little boomerang.
Boomerangs.
Thing. That's cool.
I did confirm that Kuwanger means beetle. I believe so.
Ah.
There we go.
yeah.
So we got more hot trivia coming from Lobos here on what a chameleon is. So why don't you walk us through what that is?
Oh, a chameleon
Yeah.
is a type of dog that is green and can go invisible.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So what's his weakness?
His weakness is you being able to see him. No, in the stage, Sting Chameleon is a chameleon, and he can go invisible and like crawl around the sky, kind of like Vega from Street Fighter 2. But if you use Boomer Kuwanger's weapon, you can pretty much stun lock him by just repeatedly hitting him over and over because he'll jump.
Yeah.
You can shoot him off the wall. He'll drop down. He'll jump to the other side of the wall, and then by that point, you can have a boomerang queued up and just kind of stun lock him that way.
Yeah, I actually do that on the second fight we'll see with him. So I was actually very impressed with that. I was thinking like I might have. I'm sure speedrunners are much quicker, but whenever I'm pretty sure this is probably the speedrunning tactic, and being able to kind of just discover it on your own.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably pretty easy, I just felt kind of cool about that. So
as you should, as you should.
as I should. So here's another one of those. In this level, we have another one of those. For some reason, I always thought they were like lumberjacks because we're in a big forest and there's these thick trees. So I was like, oh, these guys are probably like lumberjacks, and they cut down trees and then they haul off the wood or something. I don't know.
That makes sense. Also, in the very kind of earlier section of this level, there's a spot where right before you enter the big tunnel where all the rocks are falling down, you can jump up and wall climb up, and then there's a mini boss fight, and if you succeed at that, you get the chest armor for Mega Man, which reduces your damage taken by half, which is amazing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially towards the later
cool.
levels when things just deal insane amounts of damage anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, this all again would be very nice to know. I'm pretty sure that I had to beat the last boss only getting hit twice. So having either more health or chest armor would be super nice.
I would say that's a proper playthrough, though. Now you can go back and you can get the chest armor, and everything will be just a walk in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be cool. Hey, speaking about walk in the park, we just blazed through Sting Chameleon here. And just basically using the boomerangs. He has a couple things. He'll hang from the ceiling and then drop spikes on you. And those are kind of hard to dodge because they seem random.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where to stand there. He also turns invisible and then will try to lash out at his tongue. That one's pretty easy. Just don't stand anywhere next to him. And then he's got one more. I think he just shoots some boomerangs out of him.
He'll like flick his tail and like three spikes will kind of spread across the room. Yeah.
That one was not too bad at all. And now we got Spark Mandrel.
And this is another level that a previous boss that we killed has affected the level. If you notice, all the glass tubes are kind of broken. By killing Storm Eagle, his airship crashes into this level and basically disrupts everything. Normally, this first part would be all well lit up and it wouldn't be fading in and out with black, and you wouldn't have the broken glass everywhere.
That's so cool.
That is super cool because especially since I play through the game like the same levels in a row all the time, like I don't even remember these changes, but that's super awesome.
Now, I don't think there was any indication that was what happened. How do you know that it was the crashing of the ship that caused
At the very beginning of the level, you can see wreckage of the ship.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool.
And if you haven't destroyed the ship, then obviously the wreckage isn't going to be there. But I think there's even on the glass, I think there's even little, you'll see electricity just shooting through them before the ship crashes in.
Nice.
So we did hit a mini boss. This is a mechanical thing that is suspended in water. Pretty easy. I use the homing missile. I think that maybe that's the weakness because thing kills it pretty quickly. Do you guys know one way or the other if that's correct? Homing missile on that one?
What I always use is the boomerangs, and then it'll drop down, and it loses its bubble, and then you use the Storm Eagle wind weapon that way.
One thing
There's
about the
another
boomerangs
attempt to
that's
get a
really
heart.
unique about them is since they come back at you, as long as you don't hit an enemy with them, you can catch them, and it'll keep your energy for it.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, that heart you can make with just a dash jump off the wall and kind of grab the ledge. Or you could probably use the boomerang as well.
Again, I had no idea you could use a boomerang for getting items.
Yeah, for grabbing items, yeah.
Oh, Matt, I really need to play this game again now with all this.
You do.
Although, I'll tell you what, I kind of don't want to play it again because some of the boss battles, in particular the spider boss near the end and the very final boss was painful. But I loved, 85% of this game was just was super enjoyable, and the 15% took me as long as the other 85% to play.
With the upgrades, that latter part becomes so much easier.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
so we got Spark Mandrel here. What's his weakness?
Ice.
Shotgun ice.
Yeah, so this is kind of cool because he'll actually, when you hit him with ice, he'll actually freeze and then fall. He kind of hangs from the ceiling like a monkey, right? And then you can shoot him and he'll fall. And then he has some period of invulnerability where he can't be re-iced, even though you can still damage him. Yeah. So you can't like chain stun him, but you can get pretty close.
You can chain stun him. You just have to hold off that second shot. After his arms go back down and he breaks it off, arms go back down, you can time a shot and he doesn't move. It's like Mandrel doesn't even get to be a part of the fight.
Poor guy.
So we got a let's see who are we fighting. Armored Armadillo is next.
Yep.
And this guy's weakness is going to be the lightning thing. Oh, what do they call that? The
electric spark.
Electric spark
thing. Oh yeah, this is bad time for me. So I didn't really understand what was going on when you start this level. But so just kind of really setting the scene. Watch the video if you're just listening to it. But it is, you basically have a little mine cart with spikes on the edge of them, and my poor Mega Man X got caught underneath of one of the spikes, and basically he
just got pushed and pushed.
He got pushed
you all the way
straight into a pit.
Into the pit. Yeah. Bad times. I saw even Lobos a couple times. You would jump on it and then fall off it, and then
well, they have an interesting momentum system, so that if you're on that big moving platform and you jump, the momentum will hold, and if it bounces off the wall, sometimes it'll fling you the opposite the opposite direction. Now it's really cool though.
I'm sure it has to do with how they have dash jumps, and just he has his momentum, then he jumps and it just keeps whatever his sideways just momentum is at that point.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, the momentum from the dashing there, but I think it's very possible. And then you kind of drop down a little bit more, and it looks like it's a mining bot, and so this is sort of you have to escape from it. So it's coming up behind you, and you have to just keep up, go faster than it, which isn't very difficult. But actually, you can stay behind it, right?
You can stay behind it, but you won't get. Then you'll have to kill it really fast to get the heart.
Yeah, or I was gonna say, if you go in front of it, you can get the heart, and it's a little bit riskier that way. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool, and that was one of the hearts I did manage to pick up. Again, I think I managed to pick up 3 heart containers and then 1 E container throughout my playthrough here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you collect all of the heart containers and all of the E containers, you come back to this level. That last minecart jump over the gap, you jump yourself way up top. There's a little energy up there. You got to grab that energy and leave the level. Do that 3 more times, and then eventually there's going to be a Dr. Light capsule up there, and you get the Hadouken.
Yeah.
Nice. I saw Lobos. You went ahead and did that and was playing with it. So I think the way that works. Actually, why don't you just walk us through how that works, Lobos? Because
using the Hadouken?
I don't want to missay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need full health, and if you do down the quarter circle forward, down, right, forward, and then hit the shot button, then Mega Man will just do Ryu style, Ken style Hadouken, and it one shots whatever it hits. So
yeah.
it,
Even the end bosses.
even the end bosses. I mean,
That's
like, they're
cool.
stages, but yeah.
Sure. But you,
Oh,
you do
wait,
have to have full energy, right?
You need full energy. And the very last phase of the final boss, whoever that may be, it's Sigma. You can't one shot, so you have to do that one normally.
Oh, okay. So we completed all 8 bosses, and I'd say we're about halfway through the game, maybe. Well, for my time to complete the game, it was about like I've now completed about 1/4 of the game because it probably took me 3/4 as much more time to complete the game from here.
Yeah.
But in any case, there's about 5 more levels to do. And again, this is an interesting change. I think. Well, I guess what I'm always used to is with Mega Man's is they have like a level that is dedicated to a boss rush, and then you have like 3 or 4 levels with a unique boss at the end, and then the final battle. But this one, the boss rush is kind of interleaved with the actual level, and so what you'll do is you'll get to like near the end of the level, or actually. The bosses will act as like mid-bosses throughout the level, and then at the very end of the level, you'll fight a brand new boss.
Right.
Kind of an interesting way to mix things up.
I liked it that way because a lot of times you could find little energy farms in between bosses just to replenish what you spent.
Oh no!
Did you guys notice? Did they change the mechanics of the boss at all, or are they like 100% the same?
I believe
They're
they're
the same
the
as far as I
same.
know. Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like I remember in Mega Man 2, the bosses would be the same, but they would change up the environment slightly. So they'd have like I think they'd have like instead of a flat plane, they maybe had like a
like some little staircases, like
little staircase or something.
I remember I remember Quickman having little, but yeah, in Mega Man X, it's all the same.
Okay. So, we got our boy Zero coming back, and he's fighting. Who'd you say this was? This is Vile?
Vile. Mm-hmm.
Vile. I don't even care. This guy's such like a non-contender.
But he wrecked us at the very beginning.
He did, but who cares? He's not the big bad.
Us. Yeah, but now we've come back, and we're so much stronger, and it's time for
we're not stronger because our buddy has to die for us to become actually strong enough. Spoilers in 30 seconds. So, so I guess here. So what is someone? Okay, lore expert. I'm gonna ask our lore expert to talk about like what the heck is going on in the story up to this point.
Pretty much as far as I've gathered is X is just going through and defeating all of I think they're called Mavericks. Is what
Mavericks? Yeah.
all the little bosses are called, and it's just him trying to get more powerful before he storms Sigma's fortress. I don't really understand, and I don't really remember Zero's whole role in this, aside from just being, he comes in and saves you a couple times. He's a guy who's a little more powerful than you at base, but
But he still dies, and then you just steal his power, and you're like, okay, now since you weren't able to do the job, Zero, I'll do it.
Exactly.
But the beam is
so you
good.
get I think after this, right? So what happens is Vile has captured Zero and has him in like this electrified field. Zero breaks out and jumps on his back and does something, but I think once you beat Vile, self-destructs, and then I think now we just beat Vile again. Who cares? It's not an important boss fight. What is important is after this you get Zero's arm.
Yep.
But I guess, like you were saying, Lobos, you could have picked this up maybe a little earlier.
You could have, yep. And then he's basically like, well, I don't have anything to give you except his life because he saved you. And then he just fades out of existence.
Good on him.
Then you rip his arm off and throw it on yourself.
Does anyone know if Zero plays a part in any of the future Mega Man X games?
You can actually play a Zero in one of the future Mega Man X.
Oh, is that where you just like die at the beginning of every stage?
Wow. No, dude, my gosh. The disrespect. This little the tunnel right here with all the springboards is really fun in a speedrun because it's designed in such a way that if you just sprint through, you'll bounce over the enemies and like under the enemies, and it's kind of like an auto scroller, or not even auto scroller, but it auto plays itself.
I kind of got the sense that this game was really well designed. If you guys remember Donkey Kong Country,
Oh, yeah.
where like if you know what's going on, you can just like hit the forward button and hit the jump button at the right times. You'll just look like a pro. So this jump up here, I had a lot of difficulties hitting. It's just one of those where it's just up a little too high and a little over too far that I had difficulties making that jump. Did anyone else have difficulties there, or is it just me?
Well, so you can dash jump off of walls
Yeah,
and you go way
that's
faster.
another thing I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, it's
really
a little
easy.
tricky.
Whoops.
You do kind of like a 1-2 press of like dash and then jump immediately, like you're right back to back, and you can get big distance. Like you can jump all the way across that chasm.
So we're now back to what Bomber Coanga?
Boomer Kuwanger.
Boomer
Oh, I see you did the
Kuwanger.
corner strats. Those are the best strats with the missile.
Yeah,
You
that's
just-
pretty
He'll
much-
never reach you.
Yeah, I feel like this is one that I just cheesed because he was kind of hard. I just would wall jump into the top left or top right corner and use my homing missiles to kind of tear him down. But I ran out of homing missiles, so I had to finish him off with the Mega Buster.
He's almost as annoying
after
as Sting
this.
Chameleon, just with how often he'll just go invisible.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then chuck you into the ceiling there.
exactly. Nice.
So again, you start out, I think we're in the first or second of the Sigma levels.
This is still the first one.
Yeah.
This is still the first one. And then again, you have to fight each of the bosses. I think the first level you only have to fight 2 bosses. I guess we're going to find out before you do the final boss. But I would say...
Yeah, you fight
oh,
Vile,
gosh, the
Boomer,
spider.
and then
God.
now
Someone-
it's the
okay.
spider. Yeah.
I can't do this. Someone
I love
talk
this
me
fight.
through
And
this. I hate,
It
no,
took me
no,
so long
no.
to get good at it, but once you, I don't know, get used to it, then it's really fun. But otherwise, it's really frustrating because he deals so much damage, and especially since you don't have the armor here. It looks like maybe you have armor now. You've got the helmet.
I don't know.
He's wearing the ice right now.
The ice
Oh,
thing.
okay. It looked like armor almost. But anyways, this spider spawns at the top of the screen, and there are these 4 columns, and each time he descends, there's a random spawn of these little kind of bridges from one column to the next, and you have to, in the maybe 2 seconds or second and a half before he descends,
You get less time as he has less life. It seems
he
to go
speeds
faster.
up. He speeds up big time as you go, later in the fight. But you have to map these bridges to figure out which bridges he's going to take. If there is a bridge, he will take it across, and then you just map it and to figure out where he ends up at the bottom. Yeah. And then you can only shoot him at the bottom there where he opens his eye.
Yeah, and you get like 2 seconds, and then I guess the weapon you want to use is the ice.
The ice is good.
Shotgun.
The charge buster is decent too, and another part that makes it tricky is that he'll occasionally spawn baby spiders.
Yeah.
It will kind of mess up your flow while you're trying to pay attention to the bridges. It's like, now there's spiders everywhere.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that he was going to actually follow the first of each of those poles. I was just so frantically trying to dodge him that I thought it was random.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? So this is one that I played for about 2 hours. I'm like, I think I know what's going on, but let me actually look at the video I've recorded and watch. And so I actually practiced. I'm like, all right,
nice.
In this sequence, you go left, right, left, 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 right. And so I end up here. And that's all well and good. You can map it out. The problem is you just don't have enough time, and my brain didn't work fast enough to do that right.
Fast.
And I was hoping that there'd be some sort of pattern where it's like, oh yeah, there's only 10 patterns. You have to memorize the pattern and but I think it's just completely random, I guess. This seems like it's an absolute speedrun nightmare. Like, Lobos, walk me through. How do you deal with this if you're trying to go fast?
Really just practice. And if you do a charged ice platform, like that'll deal more damage to him. Not that it's like makes it a fast fight. You still probably have to hit him maybe 10 times. Just out of practicing it a whole bunch, you just go down the line and you know which bridges or whatever to ignore on the way down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, again, I think that took me, I'm not joking, I'm pretty sure that took me about 3 hours for me to beat. And again, because I wasn't using save states, so if you beat, you lose all your lives, you go back to the beginning of the level and you fight all the those bosses again.
Yeah, and
so I got really good at killing those
first
first
armor
bosses.
upgrades, not having the E-tanks.
Well, no wonder you're so like
you
unimpressed
wouldn't
by
have this hard
Vile.
mode.
Yeah. But now we're in Sigma
we
stage
made it to the
2.
second one.
Yeah.
And our first one is Chill Penguin. And I don't remember. I think I just used the Mega Buster on this one.
Oh, really? He's a really different fight if you have fire. Because the fire will just stun lock him until he does a charge. And once he comes out of the charge, you stun lock him until he decides to charge. And that's pretty much the whole fight. It disables all the rest of his abilities.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't use fire here. This is one of those where so much time had passed between killing the first couple bosses and revisiting them that I had forgotten like what the strategy was. So I almost kind of had to re-experiment. But I really enjoy that about the boss fights in Mega Man. It's just kind of like, all right, hit him with one weapon. Nope, that's not it. Hit him with the next weapon. Nope, that's it. And just trying to figure out what the weakness is.
Yeah, that was my strategy going into each of the end boss fights in Sigma's Tower. Just I couldn't remember what their weaknesses were, and it was start at the top of the list and just work your way down, which does more than one pip of damage.
Yeah, right.
So one thing we should probably spend some time on is the upgraded Buster or upgraded arm. I found this out by accident, but I'm really glad I did because I don't know if I would have been able to beat the game without it. So once you get this new arm, all of your charge up attacks will do different things or increased damages. So does anyone want to walk through like a couple that they can remember that you charge up and how those affect the normal attacks of those weapons?
I mean, yeah, some of them are extremely powerful. You mentioned Chameleon Sting earlier. If you charge it all the way up and then let go, you'll actually turn invincible for about, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds. And you're really cool, like flashing kind of chameleon style color.
Now you can't fire.
Right. It doesn't. You can't fire while you're doing that, but it doesn't matter. You can run through enemies and just progress through the stage.
So you can't.
But you wouldn't be able to use it during like a boss fight. Yeah.
Yeah. The Buster itself gets a really cool like multi-projectile purple laser thing that
it's like a helix that kind of goes through the world.
It's super cool.
But you have to charge it up beyond your first one, so it's like just get an extra tier of charge.
Mm-hmm. One that's really cool is Armored Armadillo's weapon. If you charge it up all the way and then let go, you'll get this shield around you. And smaller enemies, it just one-shots and you don't take any damage. So the whole, when we get to the Sigma fight, there's a very effective farm strategy, which involves having that shield and just like basically sitting near this enemy spawner and collecting items until you're all full.
I think we're going to speed past that though, so you might, if you want to chat about it, you might want to chat about it now.
No, that's all good. I mentioned it.
Okay. Let's see some others. There's the ice. Yeah, we talked about that. Actually, we're going to use that. It creates a little ice platform. I didn't know this could damage things, but apparently it can, Lobos.
Yep, it does.
Okay. You've got a tornado, so that'll shoot, instead of this normal sideways attack, it'll like shoot up vertical. It was kind of the same way that the tentacle boss used, right? If you remember when we were fighting him, he would kind of go to the top of the room.
Oh, you're talking about Launch Octopus. Yeah.
Yeah, Launch Octopus. And then you go to the top of the room and he would do a vertical attack with his tornado. And then the homing missiles, I think they'll just like shoot out like 3 or 4 at a time or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one I can remember is the spark. I think what that does is, what is it? Just like
it shoots like an expanding vertical wall of lightning that travels to the side. I use that one for the. Oops, I just did a spike jump there. I use the charge spark for Sigma's first phase.
So who wants to walk us through Mr. Face or whatever his name is?
Rangda Bangda, man.
So, wait, what?
That's his name.
His name is Rangda Bangda.
Rangda Bangda.
What's a Bangda? Is that a beetle?
That I'm not sure.
I don't know. But with this guy, he has a few different attacks. Really, nothing is that incredibly bad. He will open one of his eyes. He has 2 eyes, and he'll open one. It'll be green, blue, or red. If it's green, I think it's green. It'll just shoot at you. If it's blue, it'll kind of travel at you and try to hit you. If it's red, it'll either shoot at you or it will travel at you and shoot at you, which is kind of a pain.
I did not notice they changed colors. I was just in a frantic dodge pattern.
Yeah,
so
and
and I use the chameleon shot on them. I guess that's the good
Chameleon
weapon for them.
is good, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is a white knuckle affair right here. After you kill those eyes, you have to kill the nose. Is this what this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the nose, and it flies around, and it in a predictable like bounce off the walls kind of pattern. But it's really annoying to hit it with chameleon, which is still effective against it, because if it's coming at you and you're there to shoot it, you might get hit and fall down.
Yeah.
You have to wait.
I
till
just use
you're
homing
both-
missiles.
That's what I
homing
did.
missiles can do it. Yeah.
Why not? Gotta love them. But that was I ended up with like one little pip of life left on that one, so
Mhm.
I was very excited about killing that boss, especially because I think that was my last life, and I would have had to replay the
Oof.
entire level
Yeah.
again.
One thing to make it a little easier, if you don't kill the eyes, it'll always go back to the wider room mode, so you don't have to
Yeah.
constantly. So you can save the nose, or save one eye
Save the
for
eyes
last.
for last.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then you can, it's not as white knuckle as you were saying.
Hey, it's more entertaining that way.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
This is another boss that I just love, that if you have the right ability, you can effectively stun lock them. There's yes, this one, the Spark Mandrel, Chill Penguin.
Chill penguin, yeah.
What was it? What- was
Boomer, you kind of can if you time it right. But yeah,
I mean, the homing missile works for me. I mean, like most of the
homing
bosses,
missile's
just
great,
homing-
man.
Yeah.
Homing missile in the corner.
I mean,
The thing is, I
they
feel
only
like
have
a-
cheese strats, and I
Yeah,
love it.
Quit camping, man.
I feel like a homing missile is super effective against anything because it's a homing missile, and that's all you need.
It is pretty good there.
Here we have Sting
So-
Chameleon again. Woohoo!
Yeah, no,
You were
I'm
ready.
gonna be. I'm impressed with this fight. Like I think I missed one shot, but I just want to sit here and watch. And why don't you guys comment on my amazing gameplay?
All right, so Sting Chameleon jumps up to the top left, and then Fat Wizard unleashes a barrage. Look, he's got the timing down. He knows when that invulnerability comes up. He's not even dropping any spikes on you. It's just back and
Yeah,
forth.
no, it's just.
It's a bad day.
Beautiful.
That's
Oh,
perfect.
I guess I got them
Beautiful.
all on that one.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. I mean, okay, so speedrun strats, is that up there? Like
That
top
is
10,
literally
right?
the speedrun strat. Yeah.
All right,
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't do any better than that. Then I like
Yeah,
that.
you really
so
can't.
here's that part I was talking about. I had no idea you can get those little.
Ah,
there's two little power ups
yes.
inside of these iron pipes,
Yep.
and I was like, oh, how the heck are you supposed to get those?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. If you're just
use
sitting
the
below
boomerang.
him, the boomerang will just go up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we got the Mandrel. What was his name?
Mandrel.
Spark
Yep.
Mandrel. And again, I've been through this fight many times, so pretty effective with that shotgun. Again, I think what I could have done better was charge up. I kept forgetting that you could charge up the ice, the shotgun ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, for the speedrun, you just use the regular shot anyways. Because
just
you
use
kind
it
of have to
anyway,
shoot faster than a full charge, so... it's just-
Gotcha.
yeah. It works out. Pretty much what you were
And-
doing is also speedrun strat. So I think you're
I'm a
good
world
to
record
speed-
pace.
Yeah, there you go. Woo!
And then we got the octopus again.
Mhm.
Let's see what I use for the second time around. I guess I'm just using my
Looks like
buster
you're busting.
or
Armadillo's weapon is the super effective one here. Oh, you might be using it. Let's
I
see.
think-
Let's see if you land one, because then you'll be like, oh, you hit the missile.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, the
I think
problem
using
is,
the
so-
Buster on
so-
this guy, even though it doesn't do as much damage as that
Mhm.
Armadillo thing, I think it's way better because it just destroys all of the missiles in front of you. It just blows
Yeah.
through all of those fish things, and he becomes a boss that you just have to dodge a little bit.
Yeah, that was my problem. Is I was shooting those water bubbles from Armadillo just over and over and over, and I was just hitting all the missiles, so it wasn't hitting the boss. And I basically
Yep.
burned through all my ammo, just trying to frantically try to kill this guy.
Yeah. The trick to him,
but
if you're trying to go fast, is if you jump up and like lob one over him, almost every time it'll like go over the missiles as they're like
Oh,
curving up,
okay.
and then it'll just plop on his head.
I will say that I always use a Lobos strat now that I learned, which is when you encounter a new boss, the first thing you should be doing is dodging the attacks, and then you figure out how to
Right, yeah.
attack after that.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
I think I used to, and I still do at some point, right? Is you figure out just I want to damage it as quickly as possible, and you end up getting to a part where you can get like 75% of their health down reliable, but it's just that last bit. It's always so hard unless you really mastered their attacks. So
Yeah.
I always tried to be like, all right, what's the attack pattern here?
Yeah.
Learn that, and then go in and fight. So I am using the tornado thing on this elephant guy, Flame
Mammoth. Yeah. And then it's,
and that works out really well.
This boss is rough the first time you get to him, especially if you don't have the armor, because I think it's a 2-shot. I think he'll kill you in 2 hits.
Oh, I
think
I killed this. This was actually really easy. I think I beat it my first or second try. Maybe I
that's-
just got really
that'd be-
lucky though.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of the speed run and the any percent when you don't have any health upgrades and stuff. But still,
because the boomerang seemed to work out
it is
really
a
well for
2-shot.
me.
It is a 2-shot here.
Yeah.
Boomerang is definitely the weapon of choice here.
Well, you know what my weapon of choice is? We're gonna
Reserve
go.
tanks.
Oh, well, I guess a reserve tank.
There you go.
I actually kept forgetting I had one of these. This is like one of the first times I rememred, and at the Sigma fight, I remembered I had one. But yeah, so here's one of my speedrun strats here. No, it's my safety strats. It's just hey, corner snipe with that homing missile, and that works out for the most part. Yeah, so without that E-tank, I definitely would have died. But
he was coming in for the kill.
so this guy reminds me of like a little shoe that can open up and stomp on you.
Yeah.
So he's got a couple of attacks. He'll shoot out this big energy ball at a horizontal. So I guess what you want to do is wall jump in the corner on that. Maybe you can like dash under it as well.
He'll track you, so if you're at the bottom of the screen, he'll shoot it toward you, and you can jump up, and then you'll avoid it real easy.
Okay, and then he'll also do this. The top will separate from the bottom, and then kind of chomp down on you.
Yeah.
But boy,
bottom,
okay.
Yeah.
So here's the next. I think we have 5 minutes to talk about the last fight here. So I will say, when I came into this, I immediately noticed the background. I'm like, oh man, this is a 3-stage fight where the background opens up, and I know what's happening. So
Of course.
And this honestly took me about 4 or 5 hours to beat. I even tried to find a cheese strat, which there is one, but it didn't work well enough for me, so I did it legit. Who wants to walk us through phase 1 of this? Why don't we do Alamaxia? Why don't you walk us through phase 1 of this fight?
This is Velgarder. This is Sigma's little robot guardian wolf, and he doesn't have too many attacks. He'll just kind of pounce at you, leap at you, might shoot a few lasers at you, but his main attack that he does a whole lot is he bounces from left wall to right wall and back and forth. And if you're higher than him, he'll keep jumping higher, I think. If you're lower than him, then he'll jump all the way back down. But really, the way to kill him is just what you're doing right now. Just shotgun ice, wait for him to leap, climb up. He eventually starts shooting those fire at you that'll just kind of curl up and ride up the wall. Again, not too difficult to dodge. You just got to stay on your feet, stay on the wall, jump over it. But after that, then Sigma comes out, and
he's a Jedi Knight, right?
Right, yeah.
What,
I mean, his lightsaber is green, so...
Why does he have a lightsaber? Where did that come from?
Dude, if you could, why wouldn't you? Like, anybody that has a lightsaber, you don't have to ask why they have one. They have one. That's it. That's all there is to it.
I guess. All right, Lobos, why don't you walk me through this one?
I only know this fight the way that I fight it, which is exactly what you're doing, which is he will zigzag up the walls if you're above him. And I think he's got like a slash forward attack if you're on the ground, but you just never want to be on the ground, basically, except for a shot.
Don't be on the ground.
Yeah, so you just go up into the top left corner. I always charge my attack, and then I'll let it go as he gets kind of towards the top, and then it's a stronger, the charge spark does this big spark wall across to the right. And then you drop down once he reaches your height, and he has to zigzag all the way back down, and then you just kind of interchanging spots with him and making sure he doesn't hit you.
Yeah, I was using a safety strat, and I know that you can kind of mix it up so he'll bounce off the walls, and I would always have him bounce off the walls 4 times and then drop. But I noticed that a couple times you could actually do it with less bounces, but that was a little riskier, so I just went safety here. And then the big boy himself, this is a nightmare fight. This is the one that took me forever. So first of all, his weakness is water. Again, a callback to Mega Man 2 and maybe other ones. So there's 3 parts to this fight. There are these 2 little hands that come down, and you basically want to jump on those, use those as platforms to get up to the top, and you shoot the water on Sigma's head.
By water, you're referencing the armadillo shell.
Come on, that's water.
It's a water shell.
Water.
There's no water in Armadillo's level, but yeah, I get it. It's a shield. It's like a blue shield. It's probably water-based.
Mechanic Master, why don't you walk us through the rest of this fight then?
Let's see. We've got a wolf's head that's just kind of shooting various attacks. It's got a sweeping energy ball attack. It's got a flamethrower. Mostly attacks that will cover the ground left to right. So you don't want to stay on the ground too long. He's got 2 claws they're just circling on the sides, and they occasionally shoot laser beams straight up and down.
Yeah.
And then
so if you're standing on it for too long, it'll hit you.
Yep, and then occasionally one of the claws will come down to attack you, which it just completely moves onto wherever you are when it first attacks. That gives you an opportunity to jump on the claw, and then you can jump at the head, which is the only spot you can damage him there. So it's really tricky if you want to try and stay on a claw. You can if you tap X all the way to the far left or far right. The lasers actually won't hit you, but you have to be really precise about it. And then occasionally the opposite claw will come and stack on top of you as well. So it's just an endurance fight, like managing all these mechanics and surviving.
And I actually looked that up. I was like, all right, let's just, how do I beat this? I went to YouTube because, I want to figure it out myself, but it was like 4 hours. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
like, hey, you just stand on the side of this and you won't get hit. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And so I tried to do that, and that stupid arm, so the fireballs don't come hit you, the plasma balls, the lightning, but then the arm will come and knock you off. I'm like, I can't do it. So I'm like, I'm just going to get good. And I ultimately did. I used an E-Tank for this.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that would most often get me, and we're seeing this right now, is the fire will push you to one side, but often the lightning would come. So I basically have, there's a very, very small safe spot in between the lightning and the fire. And sometimes that was just a little too close and I'd get clipped by one of those.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a 2 or 3 hit fight and I was out.
Yeah,
especially
without
all
the
heart,
armor.
With all hearts and that 50% shield and all the E-tanks, you can basically just stay on a hand.
Codes
you can just stay on the hand and just
tank
the laser that comes out of it, and you can just stay up there and just blast away at his head, pop a sub-tank, blast away at his head some more, and he's done.
Yeah.
It makes that fight so trivial.
Yeah. But suffice to say, I was really happy that I was able to complete the game. Again, I wasn't like doing any percent, obviously. I got some power-ups, but I realized that, there's definitely more power-ups I could have got, make it a little easier. But we hit the end there, and you see Sigma's fortress fall into the sea. I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to say I bet Sigma's going to be back for X2 and X3.
Well, did you watch the end credits all the way through?
I did, and we actually have that coming up.
Oh, okay,
here,
cool.
So.
Yeah. This whole ending, like, I don't know, expedition or whatever, it's like, I'm like, okay, reading it, and then, like, the very last line is just so cheesy to me. It's like, who knows if Mega Man will ever fight again, or if X will go fight again. Only, like, the arm cannon on his arm, or the cannon on his arm knows for sure. And I'm like, oh, God, come on. But anyways, it's Mega Man X. It's great.
The twist is the arm is actually Liquid Snake.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I think that's a spoiler for a game we might do at some point. But that's fine. It's fine.
All
it's
right.
fine. Here we go. How long will he keep on fighting? How long will his pain last? Maybe only the X-Buster on his hand knows for sure. ... A
little cliffhanger there. So
yeah.
Maybe we'll have to pick up. I'll tell you what, though. X is a pretty cheap game. X2 and X3, those are like $150, $170 if you want the cart. So it's really pricey. So I'm curious if that was just like, if those were either better games or maybe they weren't as good and they didn't sell as much. That's why they're more rare.
I've played X2 like once, and from what I remember, it was very good, just like X. Like like a lot of it was awesome. It might have just been like less supply, like they didn't make as many. I don't know.
Okay.
But X2 and 3, I don't even think I've played through 3 all the way, and 2 I've only played through like once. So, man, there's a lot of room there for some more gameplay.
Some more content there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we got a nice little Patreon screen there. So if you want to be a part of that content going on in the future, we urge you to head on over to SaturdayMorningGamingShow.com. You can learn more. You get all of our fancy links out there. if you want to help support us, or you just want to watch all of our content there. Also, remember, we got Retro Oddities, a new series we got with myself and Shayna's Games. And we actually just released our Halloween episode, which is Clive Barker's Undying. So
nice.
kind of a cool like
Very
Halloween-themed episode.
So
Good stuff.
we got a lot of platformer done here. We got some upgrades. I want more of both. What are we doing?
Too bad you're not getting any more. Stop calling me Shirley. No, I don't know. No, that's a great idea. And everyone knows, because you've been following us for 3 years, that December is the holiday season. And we like to end the year with a cool old Zelda game. Kind of, if you remember, our first episode was Zelda. And I like to kind of use that as a tradition. So we played Zelda 1 last year. What do you think we're going to play this year?
Link to the Past again.
It might be better.
No, you're wrong. Wow.
Dang
Okay,
it.
I guess we're gonna make an audible here.
Dang
We're not playing Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
Yes, we are.
Play-
We're doing it.
We're gonna play Zelda on the CDI. So there we go. I've penciled that in.
Well, yeah, I'm in for that too.
Oh my.
The Wand of Gamelon?
Gamelon?
Is that what it
Gamelon,
was?
Wand of Gamelon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. So we're going to be doing Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. This is a really cool game. I've never beat it. I've gotten to the end
Same.
castle twice. So this is going to be one of these. Actually, just like Zelda 1, I've got to the end level and I never beat it. So I'm going to do it this time.
It is.
I've got a lot of
towards
stuff
the
to talk
end.
about.
It is so rough. And
Yeah, I'm
Have
ready.
have fun
I'm ready.
figuring out all of the little twists and turns and puzzles you got to do along the way. It's a good game.
Yeah, it'll be good. So we're going to be doing that in here December. Also, we got our annual Game of the 2001 awards coming up here near the end of December. So those are just a really great time to celebrate all the great games of 2001. We got all special guests coming on. Some people you might recognize, some people you might not recognize. So that's always a really fun time with you folks.
I really enjoy the game of the year recordings and podcasts because there's just so much we talk about, like the best story, best multiplayer, best music, and the little debates and arguments we get in are always so fun and so enjoyable.
It's really interesting to hear everybody's opinion, because sometimes you go in and you're like, oh, definitely this is what everybody's going to say is the best. And then some people are like, no, I hated that. And you're like, what?
And for some reason, we always have some dude fighting for Mario Party as like top 10 game. And Mario Party, guess what? Mario Party 3 is out this 2001. So if someone puts that on the list, we're chucking that off right away. So
boy. All right, Mr. EverQuest. Mr. EverQuest wins everything.
Hey, the 1999 was a magical year. What can I say?
It was magical. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, sadly, we have reached the end credits of this episode. We wanted to thank everyone for listening to us on the podcast.
And we do release a new podcast monthly, so be sure to follow and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google, or just hit us up on SaturdayMorningGamingShow.com, and you can just stream it straight from there.
Yep, and if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email, SaturdayMorningGamingShow@gmail.com, or just use the contact form, SaturdayMorningGamingShow.com.
And if you're listening to us on a platform that allows you to rate us, please do. Remember, one of those platforms could be YouTube.com, in which you can hit the subscribe button for all of our episodes, including the Retro Oddities. And then, again, a special shout out to TechnoAxe for much of the music on this episode.
For Saturday Morning Gaming, I'm Alamaxia.
I'm Lobos.
And I'm the Fat Wizard. We'll see you in December with Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
Bye.
Bye.